Today we're going to be turning decimals into fractions. So the opposite direction of what we did yesterday. Yesterday we took the fractions, we divided, we did long division, and we turned those into decimals. So today we're going to go the opposite way. We're going to take our decimals, like a 0.4 or a 0.75, and turn those into fractions. Now some of them, again, you might know off the top of your head. We should know 0.75 is 3/4. But what's the process of getting there if we don't know it offhand? So even on an easy one like that, we're still going to have to show our work. So the first thing we need to kind of review is go over our place values. We've been talking about place value in our number talks, and those place values are going to come into play here as we try and turn these decimals into fractions. So if we find our decimal here, we know these are the ones, we know these are the tens, we know these are the hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, so on. But the important ones today are the place values after our decimal point. So the 9 in this case is in our tenths spot. Notice it has a TH, so it's not our tens. Our tens are over here. This is our tenths spot. And also notice that it doesn't start with the oneths. There's no oneths. It starts with tenths, but then it kind of follows the same order. So hundredths with the TH, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths, millions. Now those place values are going to be important. Okay, we're going to use those place values to turn these decimals into fractions. So if I just ask you to read this number or write it out in words, 0.4 is, if you look, in the tenths column or the tenths place value. So if I was going to actually write this out, this number is 4/10. And you've seen that before. So when I want to turn this to a fraction, I literally just write that as a fraction. 4/10. 4/10, or 4/10. These have the same value. That's why we call this 4/10. Now I wouldn't leave 4/10 as my final answer because I always simplify if I can. So I can divide by 2 here, and my answer is 2/5. But that's equivalent to 4/10. So 0.4 is the same as 4/10, which is the same as 2/5. So the most simplified answer is 2/5, but these are all equivalent or equal. So if I slide down, 0.75, that is 75, and the last spot here is our hundredths. 100 with the TH, hundredths. So it's 75 hundredths. So it's 75 hundredths. And then I would simplify that. So these are both divisible by 25. And so I'm going to get 3/4, which we knew was the answer. So on the test, as we look forward to that, you can't just put 3/4 for 0.75 because you know it off the top of your head. You have to show the starting point. So this goes to the hundredths place value. It goes 1, 2 spots after the decimal. 1, 2 spots after the decimal is the hundredths. Okay. So as we move down here, this one, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Okay, so this is 832 thousandths. It goes 3 spots. So when I set this up, it's 832 over 1,000. Now that's a little trickier to simplify. You can go by 2 a bunch of times. On the test, you're not going to have one this large without a calculator. So I'm just going to help you out here. We could actually divide by 8 and get all the way down to our final answer of 104 over 125. But again, in your work, you're not going to have one that large to simplify. So what if I jump up to number 2 now? Okay, it's 8 something. Now 8 is the only number because there's zeros here, but those still have place values. So this is tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So it's 8 thousandths. And of course, I can simplify here. So let's just say I had one like this and I didn't know I could divide by 8. So maybe I could divide by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And 1,000 divided by 2 is 500. Looks like I can still divide by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 500 divided by 2 is 250. I still have two even numbers, so I can keep going here. I'm going to divide by 2 again. I'll zoom out a little bit for you. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 250 divided by 2 is 125. So my final answer here is 1 over 125. Now again, I'm not going to put ones that large for you to simplify, even though that one I don't think is too difficult for you. So try number 4 real quick. See if you can get it without me. So your starting point here is 56 over 10 hundredths. 56 over 100. So let's divide by 2 to simplify this. We know that this is 50. Now, half of 56 probably doesn't come right to your mind. What's half of 56? But what if I split this into 2 pieces? 50 and 6. I know half of 50 is 25, and I know half of 6 is 3. So what if I put them together? 25 and 3, I get 28. So half of 56 is 28. I can still divide by 2. So I'm going to get 14 over 25. Okay, in this last one, we're not going to fully simplify it because it's just such a big number, but I do want you to see how I would set this up. So it's tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths. So I'm going to put this whole number, 8575, over 10,000. 10,000. And then you would simplify. I see that I could divide by 5 or 25. Okay, but for today, I just want to make sure you know how to set that up. All right, let's slide down now, and let's look at our repeated decimals. Okay, so they're going to act a little bit differently. So if you read the directions, it tells you what we need to do. It says when there are repeating decimals, use the number that's 1 less than the place value as your denominator. So up here, we use the place value as our denominator. Here, we're going to use the number 1 less than the place value. So if my place value was tenths, 1 less than tenths would be ninths. If it's hundredths, 1 less than hundredths is 99ths. Thousandths, 1 less is 999. That's how this works. So on number 7, if this was just a 0.6, it would be 6 over 10. But since this is 0.6 repeated, I'm going to put 6 over 1 less than 10, so 9. And I would simplify. I'm going to divide by 3, and I get 2/3. You might say, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why do I have to do that? Well, let's just double check and make sure we're getting the right answer. So if I divide 6 by 9, I get that 0.6 repeated. And remember, this 7 is a rounded number, so just ignore it. Those 6's go on forever. So 0.6 repeated is the same as 6 divided by 9. Or try it with the 2 and the 3. Because it's the same number, I should get the same answer. Sure enough, 0.6 repeated. So what if I put 6 tenths? 6 divided by 10. I just get 0.6. Okay, there's no repetition. So if I want 0.6 repeated, it's not 6 tenths, it's 6 ninths. All right, so it's 1 less. So let's slide over to number 8. So if that line was not there and it was just 0.56, it'd be 56 over 100. But that is there. So I cannot put it over 100. I have to go 1 less. So instead of over 100, we're talking 99. And 56 over 99 is the answer. So if I come to number 9, same idea, right? This is hundredths, 2 spots, 2 decimal spots. So I'm going to do 27 over 1 less than 100, 99. Now this one, you can simplify. 27 and 99, you could go by 3. The best number is going to be 9. So 27 divided by 9 is 3, and 99 divided by 9 is 11. And you can always double check your answer. Take your 3 over 11, 3 divided by 11, and see what you get. You get 27, 27, 27. Okay, repeated 27. And again, ignore the last digit. It's been rounded. Okay, it's really a 2. They rounded it up to a 3 because the next number is a 7, and they had to leave it off. All right, so you can always double check all of these. So if we did 56 divided by 99, it's 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6. Okay, which is what this is supposed to be. So we've got 0.36 repeated. So I'm going to take 36, and I'm going to put it over the one less than the place value. So it was supposed to be hundredths. So one less would be 99ths. Again, I can divide by 9 here if I see it. 3 will also work and get you there, but I could go by 9. So it's going to go into 36 4 times, and 99 11 times. So it's 4 over 11. Notice these both have common denominators of 11. 11 is one of those denominators that produces repeating decimals, just like 3, just like 9. Okay, so number 11, 573 repeated. I'm going to put that over the place value, but since it's a repeated decimal, I got to go one less. So normally this is tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So 1,000, one less than 1,000 is 999. All right, that actually can be divided by 3 if you tried it. I would never ask you to do that without a calculator. So I'm just going to give you the answer here. If I divided these by 3, it's 191 over 333. But again, you would not be asked to do that without a calculator. Number 12, last one, 0.003 repeated. So I'm just going to put the 3 over one less than the place value. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths. If the line wasn't there, I'd put it over 1,000. Since the line's there, I go one less. 999. And that one, you can probably see, can be divided by 3. So I get a 1 on top. And 999 divided by 3 is 333. All right. I want you to try a couple to see how you can do on your own. So we're going to add a couple numbers down here, and let's see how you do. So let's add number 13. Let's do 0.8 for number 14. Let's put 0.8 repeated. And for 15, let's see. Let's put 0.52 repeated. All right, I want you to try these 3, and when you think you've got those right, raise your hand. I will come check those, and if they're right, I will get your homework, and you can get started.